Do you think everybody's always looking at the efficiencies like that, or do you think the majority is just happy if they're able just to have their operations run smoothly, and let's not rock the boat with putting in these different type of greens, or going down the direction of green?
I think everybody, I may be wrong, but everybody's looking at efficiencies, because it would translate to dollars to the bottom line. You know, if you're not doing your homework, and then it will be seen in your budgets. And then you will be, asked to explain, why you did not meet your budget. So, efficiency is very important, but again, the problem would be capital. You have to spend in order to save.
Yeah, and that was what have you found? Because you've already done a little bit of this. What is like an average number of years or months does it take to justify putting in some of these efficiencies? Is the green technologies adding to the bottom line, where it takes the same amount of time to get the monies back on that, the ROI on it, or is it shorter? What has been your experience?
Well, we started with the low-hanging fruits, of course. Just like the relamping, your payback is less than a year. So it's a no-brainer, why you can't start doing something. And the other thing is, when you look at your bills, your utility bills, you need to understand them. What is this, let's say, this energy efficiency programs, saying why am I being charged on this? Our local utility company, which is ComEd, they have this Smart Ideas program, where they pay you up to 50% of your project, it depends, as incentives. So you see those charges, in your bills, try to understand them. So why can't I take advantage of these opportunities? So with these projects here, relamping and the installing of VFDs, we applied for incentives on this Smart Ideas program from ComEd.
And you found that just from your electric utility bill?
Yes. So we started with the low-hanging fruits, and then now we're working on these other projects, which they have average 2-year payback.
Okay. Now, if you would have just, let's say, installed new equipment, what would have been like the normal payback? Of course, it's supposed to be better technology, more efficient, work better, things like that. But under the traditional way, would you say that the payback would have been more like 3 or 4 years, or do you think it's still the same as 2?
Well, rule of thumb, I believe we have used about 5 years in the past. So we just started with this low-hanging fruits.
So that's a considerable
right.
Considerable change. Okay, gentlemen.
It kind of depends, I guess, on the scope of the project too.
Okay.
As far as we just did some equipment replacing and using the VFDs and using staging of motors and staging of multiple compressors that can now actually look at your load and adjust to ramp down or ramp up has obviously been a tremendous help for us. Again, all the cost we look to within, because the cost of the employee still is there, the cost goes up, the health cost goes up, the insurance cost goes up. As I said earlier, you can't go to the customer with price increase, so you have to look for other efficiencies from within. It's the way you do things. Some of the smaller projects or low-hanging fruit, the lighting, there's a lot of companies that are out there now that actually position themselves to be the middleman between yourself and ComEd. They'll actually sell you the fixtures if you so choose to do that, or you can do it upon yourself, and they'll do all the handling and follow-up to make sure that ComEd utility is going to pay you back and reimburse you for this. We're starting to see a lot more of that. I still believe that in our instance, when we're looking at 4 facilities, and 2 of them are in 2 different states, I've got 1 facility in Chicago, 1 also in just outside Chicago. We're looking at 4 different jurisdictions, 4 different sets of laws, sets of billing, and you can really get a handle of what's going on throughout. Corporate purchasing. If you go to one national account in corporate purchase, just like your Walmarts, we want to buy gas for 4 facilities, we want to buy electric for 4 facilities, etc.
A lot more leverage.
A lot more leverage. A lot more leverage. You still want to have, you know, on all your, you still want to have the necessary evil of a backup plan, just like our accounts. They'll say, well, you're going to produce this product for us, but what if something happens? So we're positioned to produce product in multiple facilities for the same customer, instead of the customer saying, well, I have to go look at somebody else. Then that's, you have an opportunity of losing the account. So it's 2 years on some projects, 5 years on big projects, to get back to the question.
Okay.
Payback.
That's awesome, okay. Do you have something to add to that?
You know, I mean, obviously we do the same things as far as VFDs. We talked about the fan walls. We have a project going on right now, replacing air handlers, and we are going with that system, and it's so quiet also.
Yes.
That's another benefit too, is the noise level that people are, wow, you know, that air handler is running, you can't even hear it. I mean, it's beautiful. We do load shedding. We've done also light retrofits. I think that's one of the easiest ones. I mean, it really, the payback, it's great. We're looking at performance-based contracting as well. You know, trying to figure out, we've done metering projects now where we're actually, each building now will be able to tell how much chilled water and how much on our side of campus, high temp hot water versus the west campus would be chilled water and steam. We're trying to figure out what buildings are using what, and trying to identify which buildings we need to look at a little bit more to save some money. And I think one of the ways we're doing things too is through education of our employees. You know, please watch, you know, notice more of these things, and also training, certificates. You know, they take classes at, you know, for the engineers at, we're $3.99 engineers, and they offer a lot of excellent programs for the employees. And on our chilled water system, most of our new buildings, well, all of our new buildings that are on our central utility plant, we have a bridge tender system. So we're trying to reduce the load on the chilled water plant. If the water's above X or still below X amount of degrees, we will recirculate it back into the building so it doesn't go back to the plant too cold. So we're trying to keep the load on the plant lower as well.